All right. So appreciate everyone getting started. This is our Haven team huddle. We're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start with what we know children died for, children cry for, and men and women die for. And that is recognition. So there are a lot of things that we do silently, but we want to get, I guess I'll say it this way, we suffer silently, but people only see the successes publicly, right? So when we go through these, this is people who have been suffering silently, but their success is showing. It is not because it's easy, it's because they decided to win. So again, I got 7 families. Next, of course, Woody, he protected 5 families. And just so you know, typically you're looking, one family is about $1,000. That's just typically what it is in the industry. So if it was maybe, 5, 8, 9, 9, 9, we just round it off to 5, right? Just to keep it simple. So I know the numbers aren't exact, but that's the case it is. Thank you again, Rose, leading from the front. She protected 5 families as well. All right, Vernon. Some of you know Vernon's story. He's picking up steam. He's that car that you think, oh yeah, then all of a sudden he just smokes you. This is almost his second week doing just about 5 families. Wendell, he protected 3 families. We know how hard he's been working. Of course, Joe, brand new to the game. He helped 1 family as well. And again, we put Joe W. Sorry, your name is Joe W, Amy. I don't know how that happened, but that's Amy. She protected 1 as well this week, as well as Melissa. Appreciate you and all the work you do. And then, hey, here's another new writer, Alexis Torres. And some of you reach out to her and hear the story and how she's been just grinding, and just what that 1 family means has made a big difference. And, funny thing, she actually helped another family. And then she also got a commission recently. So Clarissa, thank you for what you're doing. You helped 1 family. Zach Waite in Idaho, he helped 1. And then Dwayne, all of these people helped 1. Kamisha, she helped 1. Maureen as well helped 1. We appreciate everyone and what everyone is doing in the process. So let's jump into this, guys. The recognition is going to get a little bit more loud, and for the purpose of just recognizing you for what you do. The purpose so you can be able to share with other people that you're helping protect families. And the hope is as that spills over, they want you to protect them because they see what you're doing. You start getting referrals. So the things you'll be seeing on social media, please share it for the sake of helping people know you do what you do. I just had a family reach out to me because surprisingly enough, they had no idea that I did what I did. But thankfully, I was able to share that, and it made all the difference. And Rose, if you can keep an eye on just accepting people in, it'd be great. All right, so the topics for today, guys, we're gonna make this open. How to win despite any situation that you're in as a new agent, as a seasoned agent, as a media agent that's maybe in the middle. I'm gonna say it this way, and you guys can interpret it how you will. At every level, there's a different devil. When you start off, the same effort it takes for you to create momentum to go from 0 to helping 5 families a month, that's a certain amount of momentum. It's almost like a quantum leap. Mm-hmm. You then are a new agent, you're comfortable, you're going through, and then sometimes, here's what's crazy. People do that and then they get stuck. And it's crazy to me because you were a brand new agent, you develop all this momentum, you started helping 2, 3, 5 families a week, and then you have more experience than you ever had, and then you're suddenly stuck. How does that make any sense? Here's what we know. At every level, there's a different devil. The same effort it took for you to go from 0 to where you got, it will be the same amount of effort it'll take you from go to where you got to something else. What is that effort? I'm going to share that with you today. I want you guys to add, I'm gonna whatever situation you're in. Some people got in this where they don't know where their rent's coming from. Just being 100% transparent. It's happened before. Some people, they're doing well financially. Others, they're okay. Whatever situation you think you have, I would like to do a Q&A at the end, and it doesn't have to be you, so you can be anonymous. Throw at me a scenario. The difference between Steve Giordano, he's the #1 producer in the company, did over a 1.2 himself, families. The difference between him and you is not because he has more knowledge on America or knowledge about carriers. It's just in the way he thinks. If Steve Giordano was in your situation, I'm going to be even better. If Sean Mike was in your situation right now, then what you should be thinking is, what would Sean Mike do? How would he react? What strategy would he have? I'm talking your same situation. That's what you got to say that's different between you and him. It isn't anything that it's just, what would he do? He had the same challenges you had. He would have the same inhibitions. He had the same fears, but what would he do, and in what order would he do it in? If you can just think the way he would think, your problem will be solved. Now, maybe you can't think the way he thinks for whatever reason. Maybe you say you're uniquely defective. If you can just start doing what he would do, the thinking will follow, because psychology and physiology and life, they are connected. If you don't believe me, I guarantee you, people that get paid a lot more money than I do just for coaching people, they've done all the research, and it's a fact. Even if you don't feel a certain way, if you begin acting that way, you act yourself into believing. So if you're saying, I'm stuck, I can't do it that way, no, just do it. And all of a sudden the feelings will come, and then you start thinking like Sean Mike, acting like Sean Mike, doing the things he would do. That's why we do things even though we don't feel like it sometimes, because you will follow, your mind will follow sometimes. It's better that your mind leads, but if your mind isn't leading, let your body follow. Hence the reason we talk about things like national conference. Book your ticket, lock in your room, do something, because you're literally, your mind may be scared, but your mind is going to follow your body because you said, I'm going to do it anyway. And hey, let's be honest, guys, courage is doing things. Courage and bravery are confused. I just want to be clear, because I'm telling you, this is all about what we're talking about. Bravery is someone who, they don't really feel fear. Dangerous situations happen. Life is tough. They're overwhelmed. They just do it anyway, because that's just how they are. They're brave. They're almost naturally brave. Courage is, to me, the higher attribute. Courage are people who, even if they're scared out of their mind, they do what they know they need to do. Their mind follows their body. That's how the mom, even though they have these three thugs that are beating up her kids, that's why because rationale will say you're about to get beat down. No, but she will go in there anyway. That's how it works. So utilize that same effort in your business, and you'll be surprised where it takes you. So I want you to, as you go through, we're going to put in the back end, think of the situations that you think got you stuck right now, or that maybe other people are stuck in. And hey, what would this person do? What do you think? And as you start talking through that, that's what I'm going to do for the Q&A. All right, I'm going to pause there for a second. Remember, the topic is how to win regardless of any situation. So as you go through in business, you're in 3 different stages. Here's what we know. In FFL, there's a wheelhouse. What do I mean by that? Well, let me go and change the viewing. Bear with me here. Man, I wish I was better at this. Screen, there we go. All right, so there's a wheelhouse at FFL. The wheelhouse, as far as leads, you will decide exactly how your wheelhouse is done. So in the leads, there's final expense, there's mortgage protection, there's straight life insurance. So, normal internet leads, there's annuities. We all start, and when you think of like a little funnel, we all start in one funnel and we decide where you're going to end. You have to discover where your wheelhouse is. We all enter in the straight final expense. If you're looking for annuities, you can go straight annuities. But the truth is, the best leads for annuities are straight life insurance. I just found a guy who had some money. Everyone has money. How did he get into my scope? Life insurance. Final expense, some people love it. Just straight internet leads. Some people love that. We have direct mailers. We have live transfers. Here's what I'm saying. If you're struggling in one area, 2 things that you don't want to do. Don't switch too quickly. Most people are just flip-flopping. They're just switching. The reality is most leads are just leads. You just got to work it and get better. And then once you work that lead type enough, all the other lead types you'll be better at. Remember that. So don't be switching. Hey, well, this one didn't work. I'm gonna try this one. No, just stick to what you're doing. It takes, and this is a fact, 90 days for just about anything to produce results. You ask any person successful, they will tell you Well, what is a good amount of time to see if something works? I don't care whether it's a business. I don't care whether it's a relationship. 90 days. I'm talking of real work though. You have to set a plan and put that effort towards that work. And in 90 days, you work that same lead type, it'll work. Prime example, when I kind of converted from doing in-home sales to telesales, it took me about 60 to 90 days. I took a straight dip. I was doing production, but in 90 days, I became very, very proficient. So if you want to do something, you need to figure out, what is it going to take me to sustain this for 90 days? Now, mind you, you might have to sacrifice a little bit. So that does not mean it's going to be easy. So, hey, if the lead type you're working is draining you dry, hey, it is what it is. But the question you're going to ask yourself is, what if the reason that you're not succeeding in that lead type is not because of the lead type? What if it's you? And then if it was you, I think of it like a pot, right? You turn it on, it doesn't just begin boiling automatically. It takes a few minutes. What if you turn the pot on, it's not boiling yet? You're like, you know what? That burner doesn't work. You move the burners, or you move your pot to a different burner, and then the pot stops heating up, and then you got to start all over. What if you just left it there and just worked hard, and then guess what would happen? Now it builds up. So I'm just want to we're going to talk about leads for a second. I want to be very clear. It is not the leads. It's not the leads. It's not the leads. It's you. It's you. It's you. Every time. You just have to get better. Now, I'm not saying that there's not, more intent leads. However, all I'm saying is a lead is a lead, and you can just, the focus that you want is not the perfect lead, because if it was the perfect lead, then this would be luck. You would just be praying that you got the perfect person today, but it's really you, your ability, and your process. That you can control. That's a skill. I don't care where you are in America. You can take that skill anywhere and you can succeed. Focus on the process. Now, that said, let's transition to lead diversification. Here's what we know. You don't want to have your pond, your fishing reel in just a one pond, okay, or one place. You need to diversify. So here's what I mean by that. They say a good diversification is have 25% of your business, maybe you do internet leads. Now, if we know internet leads are the cheapest that they are. So internet leads is the way most people start. Truth is this, once you gain some income from the internet leads, you should, keyword should, get with your coach. You should start diversifying. Now, you're still keeping your bread and butter because that's what got you to where you are. So you'll keep your internet leads. Maybe you go 75% internet leads. Maybe you start investing a little bit of maybe Facebook leads, and you start using a little bit of that, or final expense leads. And the reality is you'll find out where you're most proficient in. However, you want to have it when the time is right, where you got leads coming from all over. Right now, the reason that I've been able to sustain my production is because I have direct mail. So that means, of course, I'm paying for direct mail, mailers going out, and these things are expensive. Sometimes they don't pop, but I don't just have direct mail. I have internet leads. I have some final expense stuff. Now, I always have Facebook. I have it all now. Just a true story about, I think it was when the housing market crashed. When people aren't buying houses, guess what you don't get? You don't get mortgage mailers. People don't send in stuff that they're not getting. So a lot of agents, they were eating off the hog, just loving it because all they had was mortgage. And it was expensive, but they were making money, and they thought they were in this high mountain. Mortgage did this, and it almost killed some teams. I'm not going to give you names, but I had some high players calling me to ask me, hey, what are you doing? Because my people are dying. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. Hence the reason you must learn how to be a triple threat. Learn how to sell every lead type. So what did I do? Well, for me, I knew the writing was on the wall. Hence, you guys saw some of the things we were doing. We started getting more internet leads. You guys saw some of the EverQuote stuff come into play because we knew what was coming, right? So when you can sell an internet lead, I'm telling you, you can do anything. It's like stick shift. If you can drive a stick shift, you can drive anything. So the internet lead, that is your entry point. If you say things like, these leads don't just work. Oh, this person do this. I'm telling you, you're shortchanging yourself. You're limiting your ability to be able to win in the game. So you got to diversify your focus. So again, you start off with one type, use that type, diversify. Some of you know we're working with Zippo. We're going to start helping you control the process so that you start getting these leads in. It's not because the current leads don't work. It's because we don't want you to be a one-trick pony and get killed because suddenly, the mail houses stop, right? We don't, even the fact that we buy leads is great, but the truth is we are going towards this section where you will generate your own. You will control your business because you got leads coming in and you self-generate them. That is the perfect situation. So transitioning to diversifying. So you're going to have a few going on. All right. I will say this. Lastly, we got some new folks coming on. If you're brand new and you're recruiting, here is a point that we say is mandatory in order to win. You need to sell yourself a policy. Or I'll say it this way. Before you get the leads, you should have at least have either sold yourself or go sell someone. I suggest you sell yourself one because here's the question. It's free for the first year. Why wouldn't you sell yourself one? You pay, they pay you. You pay, they pay you, right? The only reason you wouldn't do that would be because you don't believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, how are you going to win? You're not. So again, as a team, you need to be a product of the product. We are in the life insurance space. And I'm telling you, the ability for you to be able to win is right behind you. It's almost like that thing that everyone is that's pointing at. You don't know where it is. Everyone else is seeing the fact that, well, why are you not winning? Well, there's a problem with your belief system. That's typically where it comes down. We're going to end with this, and we're going to throw out the Q&A. How to win. I'm going to throw out different scenarios, and we're going to tell you where we're going with everything we got going. If I'm going to go from very, very broke to the present. If I was financially destitute, I knew that this business worked. Here's what I would do. I would find a way to get 200 leads, and I will dial the leads. I would follow John Wetmore's policy. I would break them up in batches of 25, and I would call each lead triple dial, right? I would get some appointments from those, and I would be going in-home, by the way. What if you don't have a car, Mac? Well, I would figure it out. Listen, guys, I'm being 100% real with you. When we live in America, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just trying to blow your thinking out for a moment. When you live in America and there's an opportunity for you to proceed and you say you can't do it, that means that's the very problem you have. Your best thinking got you to your own problem right now, meaning you at your best capacity got you thinking, got you in this mess you're in. So for you to get out of the mess, you have to think bigger, right? Here's what Einstein said: a problem can never be solved with the same mind that created it. So the problem you got right now, if you're not asking someone else for help or reading a book or doing something else, you're in trouble because you're using the same circle you created it, try to fix it. It doesn't work that way. So I'm telling you this, if I was in that situation, we're in America, there are so many ways to make money. I'm going to tell you the one that I did when even before FFL, way before, things were so tight. I was searching places to make money, and you know what I found? Here's what I know. The universe will reward you. I found this deal where I was like, say what now? Guy said, you know what? They give you money for giving blood. I was like, no, wait, like I go give blood and they give me money. I'm like, man, sign me up. I went there. I was making an extra couple $100 a week. And you know what I was using with it? I used that money. It was about an hour's worth of my time. I used that money. I reinvested it into doing YouTube. I started doing YouTube videos. I started buying some stuff. And some of you know I have a YouTube channel. That channel went from $200, $300 a month. And at some point it was giving me $5,000 a month. Just from a small thing that I did. People are saying, oh, you can't do it. There is always a way. Sell something. If you believed in yourself enough, and I said, hey, if you could do this. So going back to it, what if I didn't have a car? I would figure it out. I'm telling you, you would figure it out. It's $50 a day to go rent a car. You have a dial day, book some appointments, go see some families, protect them, and it will return you 3, 4, 5 times. That's what I would do if I was in that situation. Now, let's say I was in a situation where maybe emotionally, I was kind of ruffled, right? I didn't know whether I could do this. I was brand new. Here's what I would do, because this is the situation I was in. I would say, listen, I would say to myself, these people are either liars and they don't know what I'm going through, and I am uniquely defective, meaning there's no one that knows my situation, so they cannot even understand. It's so unique. No one in life has ever experienced it. I'm just a unicorn. I'm just different. I'm a unicorn. If you're like that, I'm gonna tell you there's no hope for you. If you believe you're uniquely defective, there's no hope for you, right? But I'm gonna tell you that you're not. If this is what I would do, I would say, okay, I might be uniquely defective, or I would look at possibilities to refute my thinking. I would start looking at different people's stories that are like my situation. I would say, okay, I would look at this situation, that podcast, and I would ask this person and that person. I would ask this person. Here's what I would conclude. Either these people are high paid actors, or I got to do something. There's something with me. And if I concluded that they were legit, they were in their heart of hearts being honest, I would then say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to close my eyes and go, because here's the truth. Which of these will empower you more? The fact that you're unique, the fact that you can't do anything, or that you are a being that has power and you control your reality? Which one is more empowering? I rather believe them. And I'll say, you know what, can I borrow your belief, borrow their belief? And I would just try, because the alternative is destruction. That's what I would do. Let's say I'm in a situation where, hey, I was in the middle of my business and I wanted to ramp it up. I'm trying hard. Again, I was there. I was maybe helping maybe 20 families a month, but man, I was working like a dog. I'm telling you, it was so, I hate using this word, frustrating, that I was working like a dog, but I wasn't getting the numbers of these other people that I was seeing were getting recognized. I was ticked off, and I'm very, very competitive, very competitive. And I got to the point, I'm like, man, something's wrong. I don't know if it's worth it, all this stress. I'm done. And honestly, I had job interviews. I had resumes out for jobs that were less stress, because I was stuck. I couldn't scale it. And I thought, well, this is how it is. I'm done. And so what did I do? Well, luckily I went to a training. I was still seeking help. I was still asking questions. And this training is what unlocked it for me. So here's what I discovered. There's only 3 reasons, if you're in the mix, in the grind, that you're not progressing. Either one, you're not doing it right. Right? If you can swear to me that you're doing it right, it's only from number 2. You're not doing it enough. That's it. Or number 3, if you're swear to me you're doing it right and you're doing it enough, it's number 3, it's you need some personal development. That while you're still doing it right, doing it enough, this needs to grow. You are in your own way. So here's what you need to do. You need to work harder on yourself than you do on your business. What do I mean? This is your medicine. I'm your doctor today. You need to, this is a pill you're going to take every day. You're going to read 10 pages of a good book every day without fail. And you will listen to 15 minutes of a good audio daily without fail. If you don't take that pill, you will die. Because all that means is you're doing those 2 things. The thing that's holding you back is this. And in order to get out of that mess you got yourself in, guess what you got to do? Your mind has to expand. We can't do that for you, right? We can't. The only person that has the key to the lock is you, but that key may be buried. You got to dig. And I'm saying the tool, you could use your fingers, but the tool to dig is 15 minutes of an audio, 10 minutes of a good book. I'm talking, you choose as a man thinking, right? And it's like the sound barrier. You're going, and boom, all of a sudden you hear that crack. Now you broke the chain. That's what happened to me. I went to that training. I was grinding. I was ready for it. I heard these 2 people. They gave me their setup. I was like, no way. That's what I've been doing wrong. I was ready. And all of a sudden it exploded. I helped 40. I was stuck at 20. The max I'd ever done is 23 families. Same work. I did 42 families I helped that same month. It was even less of a month. Then the next month I helped 58 families. What changed? It was this. So I'm just saying that's what I would do if I was in a situation where I was mentally, emotionally broken. First step is you've got to take responsibility. God didn't create, he doesn't make mistakes. You are perfect the way you are. The difference is you've added extra junk. Remember, the way that perfection happens, it's not by adding stuff to it. It's not something that you need to get. You are already perfect. You added junk to your life. So imagine a kiln, right? Some of you have ever used pottery, makes you mad, right? But remember, when you have a nice pot, How is it perfected? They put it in the furnace or whatever that is, and it burns out all the impurities. It's taking away, right? Just remember, as you get better in business, it's not going to be what you add to your script. It's going to be really what you take away normally. So perfection is done by subtraction, not addition. I'm hoping that's making sense to somebody. Throw me another situation. Let's say I was at the top of my game, and you're winning. You're winning big, but you're having trouble with others winning. Well, what do? Well, here's what we know. 3 stages of growth. If you want to grow yourself, you compress time. What do I mean? Well, if you do in 6 months what it would take you to do in a year, you got to compress time. Do in 3 months what it would take you to do in 6. Do in a month what it would take you to do in 3 months, right? And so forth and so on. Do in a week what it would take you to do in a month. If you compress time, that's how you create momentum for you. So as a new agent, your goal number 1 is to create momentum. Create a 30-day story. So if you've been in the business for a while, it's okay. Forget all that past. Today is your first 30 days. Like the next 30 days is your 30-day story. You want to be able to say, man, I've been in the business X amount of time. In 30 days, I helped fill in the blank. How do you do that? Well, create momentum. I mean, you do a lot. You can't expect to be doing the same, and it doesn't work that way. I just one thing, if you're stuck in a rut, and I'm just stick with me, I'm going somewhere. When you're in business, sometimes you do get stuck in a rut. What is a rut? Well, here's what we know. In life, in business, you get paid according to the problems that you solve. According to the size of the problem that you solve is how much you get paid. You're a bagger at a grocery store. You put the cans on the bottom and the bread on the top. That's not a big problem, right? You don't get paid very much. And you can look at all the problems people solve. You get paid accordingly. The problem we're solving, people die and they get wiped out. That's a big problem. Well, if you can solve that problem, then you can win, right? So if you look at it, when you get in a rut, here's what that means. As you grow in business, think about it. If you want to make more money, that just means there's bigger problems you got to solve. So some of you are praying for opportunity. You know, you're reading books, the ones I'm talking about, the 10 pages of, for good book, 15 minutes of good audio, and you're surprised when life is throwing you problems. I'm like, did you not read the rules? The way you're going to grow is more problems are going to come. Or did you not want to get paid? Yeah. So more problems are coming so that you can solve, bring more value to society, value to your family, value to your life. And guess what happens as a result? You get paid more. You get rewarded more because of the problems. Things don't get sweet. So when you're working, you're praying for a change, you better hold on tight because it's about to get real. Here's the difference. Are you prepared to solve those problems or not? So here's what I mean. Someone starts the business. They go, boom. And how is it that they get stuck in a rut? That means they grew faster than they were able to solve problems. A rut just means that you just didn't grow fast enough. You were worried more about your work. There's working in your business, selling, recruiting, then there's working on your business. That just means they worked in their business more than they worked on their business. So they grew to a level where, hey, this agent is doing this. I don't know how to help this person. You didn't grow fast enough. That's all that means. Not on your business. You didn't grow fast enough here. You became, some of us are helping 30 families a month. Some of us help 10 families a month. Some of us, if you look at the end of the year, we're doing really well. If you earned $1 million and you didn't become a millionaire, you will lose the $1 million. Does that make sense? You may have earned the income, but you didn't become the person. So now you're stuck in a rut. You can't grow out of it. Solution, all I'm saying, you got to grow faster. Go back to the basics. So create that momentum, right? And then that momentum, once you're doing it, you're winning. Here's how you drive momentum. You push the basics of those same things that you did, and you compress the time. You do those basics to the lower ranks. You help those same people. It's the same process, guys. You say, okay, what do you want to accomplish? And we need to compress the time. What are we going to do? We're going to fail faster. We're going to make up in numbers what you lack in skill. The problem is this: people are taking too dang long. That's the issue. If you want to accomplish that, you're taking too long to grow, And I'm not saying you're not going to grow, but by the time you grow, it's too late or time has passed. So if you don't connect those two, that's going to be the problem. So that's what I would do if I was a leader, people weren't winning, identify the people who really want to win and help them understand, okay, what do we need to compress, right? First, what goal do we want? Are you taking your medicine? Are you growing? Do you check those 3 boxes? Are you doing it right? Are you doing it enough? Or do you need personal development? Yeah. So here's a personal development little trick. You should be going to a personal development seminar once a quarter. You're reading every day. Once a month, you should be doing something like that. But once a quarter, that's why I love those sales conferences. We got one coming up in San Antonio. Once a quarter, you have to go give yourself the medicine. Because if you don't, that's cool. But when you get, a month and a half from now and you're stuck, you're wondering why, here's what happens. Life will it'll give you lessons, it'll give you tests. And if you fail the test, that's okay. That test will come back, but it won't come back tomorrow. Maybe the time it takes for that same test, it'll be 6 months from now. But we hope you're ready by then. Just be prepared for that time to come. Guys, that's what we got. So let's throw it out there. I know we got some folks. The question was, what situations exist? And if you don't have any of these questions, that's okay. What scenarios exist would you all be curious about that, wondering, okay, what would I do? What do I think Sean Mike would do if they were in that situation? I'll open it up to you guys and you guys let me know. I'm trying to figure out speaker here.
What about like single moms with kids or no babysitters or chargebacks with every single carrier, no one to, help you, you're really alone?
So those are 3 different situations. That's like hell.
Combine it all together.
Combine them all together. I'll be real for a second, if that's all right with you guys. I remember this one situation. I'm going. I'm riding with America like a champ. I'm like, whoo, this is awesome. And suddenly I see like a negative $14,000 in my America balance. I'm like, what's going on here? Anyway, call and find out. Someone, no integrity, rolled up some debt to me. Then just went, right? What do I do? Well, you can do 2 things. In life, you're either in control or out of control. And what I love about this business, we live in an advanced business. And second thing, we're brokers. And here's what I know. You can write out of anything if you have the work ethic. And because I had history and I've heard stories of people being in other situations, man, this was nothing. Sean Mike, they had to sell to survive. 50, come on. They were selling us to survive the lawsuits. So I knew I had seen worse, or rather other people had experienced worse. So I literally what did I do? Compress time. And it's all a matter of appointments. And I remember, perfect story, the people before me prepared me. I remember Stephen Yee, he helped over 100 families in 1 month. 1 month. And I asked him, Stephen, how did you do? It had never been done. It was like Roger Bannister, right? It was crazy. And he said, it's just a matter of appointments. He said he calculated backwards of how many appointments he needed and just booked the appointments. So going back to your question, Rose, whatever monetary figure you need, I would go back on the appointments. And if it's important enough to me, I had an agent once, they told me, hey, I am a single mom. We split babysitting with my ex, and I don't know if I'll have time to dial. And this is the same mom that was saying, hey, I don't know where my next check is coming from. And here's what I said to her, and I'm going to answer the question just being legitimate. I said, listen, if you're being serious that this is the only hope you got to make what you need to make to survive and stay in your house, you will say, this is what I would say if it was me. I would say, hey, X, I'm trying to get things right. Right now, my job, I'm going through a job transition and I really have to work. Otherwise, it's going to be bad for me. I need your help. And I need you to keep the kids for a week. Keep them for a week and a half. The question that I ask you is this: whatever problem you got, you're thinking of it wrong. So Rose, and your question is, oh, I don't have babysitters. Okay, let me ask you this. What if you had cancer? Then what? Would your parents just say, oh, no, I'm sorry, we can't help you? The problem is not the problem. The problem is how you're thinking about the problem. And I'm going to ask you the same question. I talk to people all the time about conference. They say things like, oh, I can't make it. I'm like, really, what's the problem? They say things like, oh, work. And these are the same people that were telling me how their job was dead end, that they needed to make. I said, okay, let me ask you this. What if you had a death in the family? Like, and it was your mom. Would you just say, I can't go? They're like, no. Yeah. You have a family event. So I said, listen, you need to treat this as if this is the death or the marriage of your business. If you had a wedding, you just met your fiance, so let's get married. And it has to be that date. When you go to your boss to ask for that day off, how would you do it? What kind of posture would you have? Hey boss, I just don't know. I might be getting married, or hey boss, man, I met the girl of my life. I know it sounds crazy, but we have to get married on this day. I know it's kind of off the keel, but I promise you, I am the hardest worker you'll ever meet. I just need these 2 days off. Please, boss. No, dang, boss. I mean, I didn't think I had to say this, but man, if I can't work here, I'm gonna have to find somewhere else. That posture, all I'm saying is, when people started thinking that light, they're like, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course I would do that. That's how you have to think. So if you didn't have a babysitter, man, and you really needed help, and you knew this business would help you protect 5, 6, 7 families that week, and you just needed the time, you would do what you had to do. The problem is you don't believe it will. That's the problem. Why don't you? And that very lack of belief is what destroys you, because you act according to your faith and you put little effort to it. So if you believed you needed the time, you would. And here's the business. And listen, there are people here to help you. Listen, with the leads, here's what I'll tell you. I remember when Trey got me involved, he didn't tell me. He said, hey, Mac, I'll give you some leads. I remember it was this specific lead type. He gave me these leads and I called him like a champ. And I think I did like 20, I don't know, I probably made like, I don't know, a lot of money on those leads. Come to find out, Trey told me, you know what's crazy, Mac? I'd given those same leads to other agents and they told me that the leads don't work. I was like, say what? I was like, no, the families were happy to see me. He was like, yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? So if I was in a situation where I was down and out, I don't care how old the dang leads were, I would dial them. Yep. Hey, we're just doing a review. I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. Yep. No, don't worry about it. I'll just check you off. Guys, I remember I booked this lead once. I bought age, file, and expense leads. And I was just booking appointments. I booked the lead. I get to the house because I don't even look at the paper anymore. I don't even look. I just see a number, name, date of birth. I'm good. I get there. I pulled the lead card. This was 2021. The lead was like back in 2018. I was like, what the? Okay, how am I going to handle this one? So I get to the door. I knock in there. We sit at the table. I said, here's the lead card you filled out. Does that look right? She goes, was that 2018? I was like, yeah, we've been so behind. So now we're here. So were you looking for this and this? And here's what will happen. They requested it. Either weren't timing was off, or at the time he didn't qualify because of the time difference between some health issues. And he got approved in Miracle like that. And they were grateful. They needed it. It had been on their mind. So all I'm saying is, to answer your question, Rose, I don't care what situation you're in. What would you do if your life depended on it? If you can't think outside, like if you can't solve the problem, someone said your mom and dad are going bye-bye if you do not dial X leads, if you don't book X appointments, if you don't help X number of families. And I know it sounds freaky, but if your mind can't create a situation of how you would fix it, then you're done. You're done because you can't think beyond the box. You may need to ask for some help, but if you're content with that solution, then you're done. But whatever ideas come to your head of, well, I would do this, that's what you need to do. And that very thing is what you're not doing. Why don't you do it? Because it's too hard. All that means is you don't want it bad enough. So let's keep the main thing, guys, is your why has to be strong. The reason I got into this business, guys, was because I had been through hell because someone didn't set me up properly. And I wish that they were a broker, they weren't. And I wish that I had living benefits, they didn't. And I remember the hell and the depression that I went through. I didn't have to suffer that if someone from Family for Life had just called me. And I thought about that, man. For me, it was not about money. It's never been about money. It's about protecting people. And that why, thinking about this. So when there was a lead, I thought about, Mr. Client, which has happened to me. I called a week late, he died. It's like, dang, I got to get through these. I got to get through these leads to protect Mr. Jones, to protect Sally. So it was about that drive to protect is what pushed me. What is your why? I get it. Some of us, things are tough, but your why is not big enough if that's not pushing you to go beyond. It needs to be bigger than you, and then you'll find the strength to do it. Good question, Rose. All right, well, any other questions? We'll stop the recording